Hi, good people. This is Deborah. I hope your day is going well. I want to bring part two of Revelations 6 9 through 17. The seals or the chakras in you. Now, I want you to understand that I will use words not intended to offend people, but to describe my point of view and how I see things. Respect that we all have different paths. Take what resonates with you and what does not resonate with you, put it on the shelf or throw it away. I know that this is a difficult thing for many people, but these are many of them are allegory stories about yourself and the cosmos, or shall I say the sun and the stars. Uh, Now, Revelation 6 9 17 describes a profound and cosmic event, the opening of the fifth and sixth seal, followed by the outcry of the martyrs, a violent shaking of the earth, and the apocalyptic transformation of the heavens. Shamilion means heavens, and that's uh, Bible Concordance H8064. That's in the Old Testament. The Aurorus is in the New Testament. That's G3772 for the New Testament. The journey described is a mirror of the self transformation. This aligns with the idea that the kingdom of heaven is within you, as expressed in Luke 17:21. The kingdom of God is within you, it's not outside of you. The soul is already pure in its essence because it has the mother and the daughter. The proteins and the neutrons is already pure. It does not need to be transformed, changed, or nothing. It is pure. It's connected already. Um, It symbolizes the proton, which is feminine, and the creative force. The neutron is the balancer, or you can say Maya, it's okay, and holding the principles, representing the great mother of the divine feminine. However, the self, our individual's identity, must undergo transformation and purification and ultimately illumination. Okay, I'm going to give you the scriptures that are in 6 9 17. I always give you the Bible concordance numbers for you to see and go and look up, because that's what the Brotherhood attached. Uh, so 6 9 says, and when he heard open the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they heard. 16, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge or avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? 6:11, and white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that should rest yet for a little season, until the fellow servants also and their brethren uh, should be killed as they were, should be fulfilled. Revelation 6:12, and behold, when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Revelation 6:13. And the stars of the heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casts her unto untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. 6:14. And the heaven departed as the scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. 6:15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every born bondsman, and every free man, hid themselves in a den and in the rocks of the mountain. 6:16. And said to the mountain and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. Now, I want you to keep in mind, Isis, ISIS, is a name for the Great Mother, and Isis means throne. So keep in mind that they removed the mother worship and put the father worship in there. Now, the lamb, every time you see the word lamb, it simply means Aries. Where is Aries? If you go and find yourself a good medical book, I used to use Statman. Uh, they made it unavailable and that you have to pay for it. But in Statman, they have a lot of the words in that book that's in this Bible, and they're medical terms. As I told you before, when I used to go to the doctor years ago when I was a child, I remember the doctor calling uh, my leg Aquarius. I remember that so well. But anyway, I heard a guy said that uh, he's a nice guy. When I say he's nice, he's very nice. And he put on my page that the zodiacs were evil. They may be evil. I'm not saying they're not, but they're in the Bible, and they're not in the Bible as evil. And so I'm giving you what's written in the Bible. I'm not, and then I'm giving you my understanding from an allegoric standpoint what the Bible says. I know for a fact the Bible was not written by God, it was written by man. It was the brotherhood to keep people uh, tied to the outside of themselves. Revelation 6:17. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand it? Now I'm going to give you the knowledge and the symbolism as I know it. The fifth seal. The fifth seal opening represents those who have transcended the physical realm but still hold a deep connection to the divine truth. The altar is a sacred place of transformation, and those under it are spiritual warriors who have given their lives for truth. Now, the souls under the altar, it symbolizes integrity of those who have aligned with divine will and truth, even unto death. Now, how long, O Lord, is a cry of the cosmic justice. The esoteric meaning involves the self desires to purification of the world and establishment of divine order. The white robes. The white robes represent purity, sanctity, and the elevated state of the self in spiritual realms. The robes signify their transition from earthly suffering to spiritual victory. The sixth seal, verses 12 through 17. The opening of the six seals bring about a sudden cosmic violent disruption and change that causes the nature of order to crumble. The great earthquake, the darkened sun, the blood red moon, and the falling stars are all symbolic of dramatic shifts in awareness, a complete disintegration of the old paradigm, of the old world. All this shit is coming down, every bit of it, and we're in this time period. And if you of a spiritual person, you will know that, and you're going to be okay because your spirituality is going to hold you up to where you can handle whatever's about to take place in this earth. And those that call themselves in high places knows that. Okay? And that's why they're trying to suck as much as your energy, cause so much distractions in this time period so you won't know what's up or what's going on. Okay? That's what's going on with them. And that's what they're trying to do. And they trying to see how they get energy from us is through fear. They trying to use fear with somebody, the Trump card. Okay, they trying to use fear. Let's look at the word earthquake. The earthquake represent a shift in spiritual awareness and awakening, a break in the material and illusionary world. The sun turns black, symbolizes the end of false illumination. Light represents truth, and when the sun turns black, it signifies a collapse in deception systems that once illuminated the world in falsehood. In many cultures, the blood moon has deep symbolic meaning. In the esoteric term, the red moon represents a moment of divine judgment, a time of purification. It is both an omen and a transformative force. The stars falling indicates the collapse of false ideology, of the fall of those in power who were once seen as lights. They would be the politicians, they would be the leaders, and they would be the institutions that have caused people to be imprisoned in their minds because they gave people the outer court. You got the outer court and the inner court. The inner court is going within yourself, knowing that you and God is within. Okay, God's substance is in every soul child. Now, every soul child is across the cultures. When I say across the cultures, those that call themselves black, those that call themselves white, those that call themselves Hispanic, those that call themselves Indian. When I say culture, I'm talking about across the culture. Okay, there are people that have souls. Don't get it twisted. Now, the fallen stars represent the dissolution of egoic structures that prevent enlightenment. You remember the story where, I'm going to paraphrase it, where the Pharisees and the Sadducees was at the gate. They did not enter into the gate because it requires you to be a different person. So what they did, they blocked the gate from the soul children from going in and being transformed. Well, they're not in that position to do that now. That period that they were blocking is done. It's finished. We have to go through purification and we have to see the things for what it is and who is doing it. Now, I have never, ever considered humans having more power than the creator or the great mother. Never. Now, there are things that she allowed to take place, but that period is over. You got to give something in order to receive something. And all you have to do is give into your inside, and the rest will take place. Take out obligation, because you are obligated to accept the things that you have done. You're obligated, because if you don't, nothing is going to change for you. You're going to be a part of that group that is coming down. Now, the hiding in the caves, you already know there's an underground that's been there, and those that consider themselves in high places, they did not create it. The underground was there umps and years ago. The original people put that underground there. Now, the kings, rich men, and mighty men hiding from the face of the one that sitteth on the throne symbolizes the fear of facing the inner truth or divine judgment. This represents the ego and the material attachment hiding from spiritual and enlightenment. These figures represent the forces of the ego that cannot withstand the presence of divine truth. Now, the great day of his wrath. I'm just giving you the words that's written in the Bible. I don't say his, I say her. Refers to the ultimate spiritual awakening when all falsehood are exposed. That's what's going on right now. All the falsehood is being exposed. The great mother is using different people for different things. So just because you don't know what Sally is talking about, it's okay. You just do what you need to be doing. You focus on what you need to be knowing. That's what you need to do. Like I don't shuffle cards, but I focus on what I supposed to be doing. And what I supposed to be doing is giving the scriptures as I know it, or as it was given to me, the allegory part of it. Okay, and that's what I'm doing. I'm giving it to uh, the videos. Now, who is for? That's not my business. Okay. Now, one that sitteth on the throne symbolizes the fear of facing the inner truth of divine judgment. This represents the ego and material attachment hiding from spiritual enlightenment. These figures represent the forces of ego that cannot withstand the presence of the divine truth. Now, the great day of his wrath refers to the ultimate spiritual awakening when all falsehood are exposed. That is taking place right now. All falsehood is being exposed all across this world. Okay? Nothing remains hidden. The moment is about the purification of the self and the world's reality when no one can escape the divine light and truth. Now, I have given, added to this uh, video, the Bible concordance with meanings. Um, Let me try to run through them real quickly. The altar. The altar represents space and sacrifice and transformation. It refers to the inner altar of self, where one desires uh, the ego and attachment and service to higher truth. The white robes that symbolizes purity, righteousness, and self victory over earthly trials. All this has to do with you. These robes are associated with attachment of spiritual enlightenment and the completion of one's spiritual journey. Earthquake. An earthquake symbolizes a massive spiritual awakening in many mystical traditions. It shakes the foundations of one inner world, leading to greater understanding of the divine truth. The sun becoming black. It symbolizes the ending of false light or ignorance. The sun is traditionally a symbol of truth and enlightenment. Its turning black marks the end of illusions and the beginning of inner illumination. The blood moon. This symbolizes its symbol is connected to transformation, purification, and divine judgment. The blood red moon symbolizes the emotional and spiritual crisis that lead to a personal and collective transformation. Collective is you, the rest of the world. Stars falling. It represents the collapse of the old structure, ideologies, and systems of authorities that were once seen as stars or sources of guidance. Those that's in Hollywood, they falling, as you already see it. You're seeing everything is being exposed in Hollywood. Anything connected to Hollywood is being exposed. You know that. They are the counterfeits. The real stars that 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 came from the stars, which are the phenomenon energy that came from the stars, they are in a different place, hidden, but they are being revealed. The real stars. Now, transformation of the self. And let's say this too. They know who the real stars are. They are being watched. The real stars are being watched. And I'm here to tell you, don't fear. There's nothing to fear. Nothing. Okay, so the transformation of the self describes a profound and cosmic event that opens up the fifth and sixth seal, followed by the outcry of the martyr, the violent shaking of the earth, and the apocalyptic transformation of the heaven. The esoteric journey describes here a mirror of self transformation. The soul is pure in its essence inside of you. That is your teacher. That is your instructor. That is your guide. That's the connection that you have to the Great Mother. Okay? It doesn't matter whether you say Jesus, Buddha, whatever. It still connects to the Great Mother. Okay? Now, it symbolizes the the proton, which is phenomenon, the creative force, and the neutron, the balance of holding principles, representing the Great Mother's divine phenomenon. However, the self, our individual identity, must undergo transformation, purification, and ultimately illumination. Okay. All right. So I've also given you the list of the concordance numbers for these different words that are listed here. I'm not going to go through them. You'll be able to see them. This is my conclusion. The spiritual purification, the collapse of the false ideologies, and the ultimate judgment that everybody will face in the end. It illuminates, it illustrates the cosmic struggle between truth and falsehood. That's what we're dealing with now. And the transformation that occur as we move closer to divine awareness. Now, with this divine awareness, keep in mind ego and ignorance is going to be painful for you. If you try to hold on to ignorance and if you try to hold on to falsehood, it's going to make you mad. It's going to try to cause you to do things to people because the ego does not want to let go of falsehood. Now, take it, accept it, and so you can become the person that you really are inside of you. I've been through a lot of that. It's okay. I remember when I read the Bible literally for so many years, I thought I knew something, only to find out that was the beginning of the initiation. I was being initiated without being a part of uh, the uh, the fraternity, uh, and it's okay. But I had to go through that process. Then I had to go through the process of understanding who Freemasonry was. Okay, I went through that process. Then I had to go through. Once I was going through that process, I was going through a lot of pain from the ego because the ego didn't want to let go of uh, the literal part of the Bible. The ego did not want to let go that the brotherhood wrote the Bible and they were not inspired by the creator. Okay, they were not inspired. They were inspired by their damn selves. Okay? Now let me go back. So it illustrates the cosmic struggle between truth and falsehood and the transformation that occur as we move closer to divine awareness. The passage is not only about physical, that's the ego and historical event. Uh, People went through this before, but also serves as an allegory for the self journey through suffering, enlightenment, and eventual reunion with the Great Mother, okay? Or with your spiritual self or your higher self, because your higher self is connected to the Great Mother. It doesn't matter how you get to your higher self as long as you get there. And there's many journeys, roads that everybody, individuals have to go down. Okay, sadly, can't say, well, I didn't go down there because that person. I remember a girl, her and I used to study. I told her that I was into Egypt right now, and she said, "You better come out of Egypt because Egypt is corrupt." It did, because I'm a hard person and I'm not one that allow people to predict my destiny. I heard what she said, but I kept on my journey in Egypt and I got to find out some things about Egypt. And so that's okay. People are going to come your way trying to tell you it's best to move in silence about your personal life because people are not gonna, because they themselves don't understand who you are. They gonna give you stuff for you to waste your time on. You don't have time to be wasting. You just don't. um so a call for inner transformation, letting go of materialism, ego, and illusion in the quest for spiritual truth and understanding. The apocalyptic described is not just an eternal event, but an internal awakening that each individual undergoes in the pursuit of higher uh, consciousness or awareness. The passage from Revelation 6 9 through 7 serves as a prophetic depiction of cosmic event and metaphor for the spiritual journey of transformation and awakening. The soul inherit purity in already is her inherent purity already presence in the passage, but the self, the self, must be purified. Now, when you read that scripture, put the self, remove the soul and put the self there, because it is the self that needs to be purified. The soul is already purified. It is the spark that's within you uh, to achieve full enlightenment. The dissolution of the old world, symbolized by the breakdown of the ego attachments, illusions, occurs through divine judgment and ensuing cosmic chaos. That's going on right now. The destruction of the false constructs leads the self toward a deeper understanding of truth and divine unity. The wrath of the Lamb. Remember, the Lamb represents Aries, symbolized by Aries, which is in your head. They used to call the top part of your head Aries, um, represents the force of purification that dismantles illusions, leaving only the raw, unfiltered awareness of the divine, the Great Mother, embodying the divine feminine. The Great Mother guides this transformative journey, ensuring that the self ultimately returns to source, which is the Great Mother, and the divine origin of creation. We're going back there. It will not be stopped. I remember Sheree said she was in, I'm talking about, was it uh, that show that come on with Sheree used to be on, and she said to this guy, "Who gonna check me, boo?" And I started laughing because I thought about the Great Mother. Who gonna check the Great Mother? She don't have no beginning, no ending. Who gonna check her? Nobody. Okay. Now the blood moon, a symbol, reflects this transformation, acting as a change and spiritual awakening. It represents the cycle of life and death, reminding us of the eternal rhythm of nature and time, and often signifies significant moments of reflections and connection to the divine, the Great Mother. The blood moon is significant in many cultures and regions. I'm talking about people they worship the moon, but the moon is a satellite. Now, is could it possibly be a place where all souls go to when it leaves the physical body? I would say right now, I'm not sure completely, but right now I'm at 70% that when the soul leaves the body, because the body is now going back in the ground or going back to dust, because that's where it goes back to dust. The soul goes and it's not leaving uh, the earth at all. It's going to a place of holding, and that place of holding is probably the satellite, which is the moon. The moon is a satellite. I had my own experience with it, so I know it to be a satellite, the moon itself. Um, there's nothing divine about it. Now, the blood moon, and I've seen the moon turn red some years ago. As I told you before, in my literal state of the Bible, I used to use the moon as the counting of days, because the word moon in the brotherhood meaning means month. So they get month out of the moon. They say that there are 28 days in the month of February. That is a lie. When I was doing the moon, I used to count 30 slivers. The slivers is the little brightness that's within the moon. I used to count them. It was 30 perfect slivers in the moon every month, and the months didn't start on the first. Okay, just want you to know. The months didn't start on the first. Today it has been given to me. The beginning of the year starts March the 21st. Why? Because March the 21st is the beginning of the year. It is where everything began to sprout and become new. And so from March the 21st to April the 21st is 1 month. Then it goes on from April the 21st to the next month, the 21st, and it just go on and on and on. They told you that September is the ninth month. September is not the ninth month. September is the 6th month. Count it for yourself. Okay, so the moon, the blood moon, is significant in many cultures because the people worship the moon, and religions. Keep in mind, religions is uh, nothing but man-made lesson, man put together lessons, and they give you the continuous books of their lessons, not God's, not the Great Mother, to keep your mind bound. That's what it does. It keeps you bound. Use your common sense. A loving God would not tell a male that his woman, his wife, is submissive to him. Never. That would never happen. That was made up. Okay? And a helpmeet. Because here's the deal. If woman came out of man, then the babies will continue to be coming out of man. I'm just making a point here. It man is not what is written literally. Okay, you have to take that thing and go deep within yourself to know the truth about that story. You have to go to Adam and Eve. It's common sense that uh, ADAM is actually ATOM. The thing about the brotherhood, they think that they were smart, but they're not so smart. They're not so smart. And what's funny to me is the great mother don't have a problem showing you things, the deep dark things of the earth. She don't have a problem doing that. She show it to you. Because why? Because it's going to help you. You think about a real mother. I'm not talking about those females out there that's not mothers. They got children, but they're not mothers. I'm talking about a real mother. What do a real mother do? She's a nourisher. She's one that will help nourish her children. She will also be a strength to her husband. Okay, she don't need to be bullied into that. She gonna do that anyway because that's her nature. Okay, so the blood moon is significant in many cultures and regions, representing omens and divine communication. Ultimately, it symbolizes the continued cycles of renewal, guiding the soul toward a deeper connection with its sacrifice, its sacred divine nature. Now, I assure you, negative will help you become and know truth as well as positive. Why? Because people tend to do the right thing in suffering. People tend to say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore when they're suffering. That's why suffering is here. It depends on what choices you make. If you're at your crossroad, to turn left or to turn right, and normally it starts at age 40, normally you live your life of a worldly life, worldly thinking, not spiritual, just worldly thinking. And when you get 40, turn 40, then you become at your crossroad. The crossroad is to turn left or to turn right. And if you turn left or right, based on which decision you make, you're going to go down a world of literal. You're going to go down the world of material. You're going to go down the world, and so that's going to teach you some lessons too, because you're going to suffer in that. Now, if you go in the spiritual realm, if you turn to the spiritual realm, you're going to have to deal with the spiritual realm, because there is some negative in the spiritual realm as well. So that's positive and negative in the spiritual realm. So you're going to have to just because I say spiritual doesn't mean that it's positive. It's positive and negative. Okay? The literal is positive and negative. But it has to be a balance there. And so what are we doing? What am I saying? What have I been saying? I've been saying that you have positive and negative in you, and the both of them must be balanced. Duality only exists in this earth. Outside of this earth, there is no duality. There's only one. And they gave you these planets and aliens again, and I'm gonna say it just about in every video I do. They gave you these alien stories because they did not want you to know that man came from woman. They did not want you to know. So when they go around talking about the homosexual or the cross dresser, uh, uh, talking about the one that dresses like a woman, but is a man. See, again, I'm going to tell you again. You need to go and study human anatomy, because once you study anatomy, you will be much better in understanding the process. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it as much as I can. The beginning process of the child is an animal stage first. That's why Adam, Adam, was naming the animals. The animals is the atom. It was the atom, Atom, naming the atoms. The animal which is inside of you. You go through an animal stage. That's what you go through. That is first. And after you go through an animal stage, then you become female. Okay? You become female. That's why they don't know if that female is going to become a male until it's 6 month period. That's why the number 3 and the number 6 and the number 9 is key in, excuse me, in the earth. But anyway, I wanted to give you that. So Revelation, I gave you the esoteric of my study, Revelation 6 1 through 17. uh, so hopefully you guys do your own, because it's important that you get understanding. That's why I always say discernment is necessary. It's necessary for you. I may have to go down a journey that you may not never go down. And it's okay. But just keep in mind, we all don't go down the same journey. So it's useless to go and ask Betty Sue what her experience is, because her experience will not be your experience, because our experiences are different. But until the next time, take care, good people.